If AI can replace 90% of what you do, then who are you really? In the age of automation, your uniqueness isn't just valuable, it's your only protection. So we're living in a time where AI can write your emails, design your logos, diagnose your symptoms, very soon drive your car, and even comfort you when you're sad. It's fast, it's smart, and it's only getting faster and smarter. And while some people are still arguing over whether it's a threat or it's a tool, the deeper question that I want to pose to you today is, who will you become in a world where nearly every external function can be replaced, where nearly everything a human can do can be done by a machine, cheaper, faster, and even better? Because let's be honest, if a machine can do your job faster, cheaper, and more accurately, then staying the same isn't just unsafe, it's a countdown to extinction. AI can replace tasks, jobs, pretty much all the skills that an information or a knowledge worker can do. And in many cases, even manual labor. There are millions of robots already being deployed and soon to be embodied and doing all manner of things that humans can do. But there's some things that it cannot replace, and at least not yet. It cannot replace essence. It cannot replace presence, soul, true purpose, meaning, and this one, most importantly, embodied wisdom. So let me give you an example. AI can write poetry, but it cannot actually live heartbreak. It can simulate empathy, but it doesn't really bleed or feel. It can know conceptually what love is, but it cannot truly understand love or be love. And this is a line in the sand that we have to draw very, very clearly. It's not between humans and machines, but between functional humans, merely functional humans that are just meeting the status quo, clocking in and out of their life, and fully alive humans. As I think it was Martin Luther King's, one of his teachers, Howard Thurman, said, "Don't ask what the world wants, ask what makes you come alive, and do that." Because what the world wants and what the world desperately needs are people who have come fully alive. And in an age where AI is going to commoditize everything and people are going to become increasingly siloed in echo chambers where they're in different worlds, what's going to matter more than anything is what makes us come alive. And you think about it, we've already seen this in the way that media and entertainment has all been somewhat commoditized, and every movie starts to look the same and every song starts to sound the same, and the book titles start to bleed together, and all the podcasts and all the media, it's just become so much noise. When you find that signal in the noise, why is that? It's because someone in some way has conveyed something truly human, truly authentic, truly resonant. And when you hear that song, or you watch that movie, or you read that book, or even watch that video, it has the power not just to give you information, but transformation. When that individual brings some level of embodied wisdom, embodied presence from something really lived through their art, through their heart, through their words, through their works, it changes you. It makes you feel more alive. It makes you become more present. Presence is the only gift we have to give ultimately. And presence is the one gift that keeps on giving. It's the one gift that when you give it to another, you give them back their presence. You make them wake up a little more. You make them become more fully alive. You might even make them discover or remember why they're alive in the first place. And AI can't literally do that. And while this is something that has always been our greatest gift, it has gotten covered over and, as I said, commoditized and monetized and ultimately allowed us to just kind of fall asleep really in this world where increasingly nothing matters. And this is why we're in such a meaning crisis. So this was already going on with media and social media, but AI is going to magnify this problem, magnify the meaning crisis, create so much noise that human beings are going to be starving for a signal. And you're going to be the one that stands out. You're going to be part of the handcrafted humanity movement. Because the truth is, you're not really here to compete with machines. You're here to become more fully human than you've ever been. And that's the other thing I want you to understand, and it's not talked about very often. Most AI experts and tech experts, whether they're fear-mongering or they're talking their book, they either say, yeah, it's dangerous, it's going to take away jobs, or it could even release a virus, or it's some Terminator kind of scenario, or they talk about it's going to help you be more productive, it's going to help you, build $1 billion business with one person and agentic AI. Some people talk about how it is a problem and we need to deal with it, and we need to reskill and upskill and be prepared and be willing to work not just 1 or 2 careers in a lifetime, but maybe 3, 4, or 5 careers. But there's a great opportunity here. We are at an evolutionary inflection point where it often takes a great crisis for us to change. And we are at a point now where we actually have an opportunity, and I dare say an obligation, and maybe even a matter of survival, that we come back to what we're really made of and made for, to what is truly singular about humans, which is not just intelligence, but is this unique ability to bring resonance, to bring a sense of presence, right? Intelligence is important and knowledge is important, but knowledge alone is not power. If knowledge alone was power, all the knowledge and all of human history is online. Do we seem more powerful? Right? Knowledge and facts is not powerful. In fact, the more we're bombarded with information and knowledge, even good information and knowledge, the less truth we are able to actually perceive. The idea of the answer to all the free speech is more free speech. That's not exactly true or accurate, because again, bombarding us with more and more and more facts or information or ideas, it just drowns us. But presence, embodied wisdom, is not just words, it's a transmission. When somebody is singing a song that sounds like the greatest pop song that we've ever heard, but it's just because if they're following the mass, it might work for a club, it might work for a moment, but it doesn't embody something that can really change lives. We don't remember that song for a lifetime, the way some of the older songs we still sing, and they're still selling, and they're still popular. In fact, they're more popular now than ever, because they were coming from a real place, an authentic place, a lived and embodied place. And so that individuals who are more fully alive, who are more fully in touch with what matters, with their deepest values, and with their embodied lived wisdom and experience that they are embedding in who they are and in what they do and in how they connect and how they express. Those are the individuals that are going to stand out. And this is not a new thing. Again, this is what has always made humans unique and special. This is what has always been the thing that changes our lives or changes the course of history. This has always been the case. But now more than ever, and perhaps again as a matter of survival, we have to make this the most important thing that we prioritize. So here's the scary part. Most people won't do this work. They'll keep chasing security through just skills and more information, if even that. They'll keep mimicking the market, copying trends, trying to stay relevant by playing it safe, right? Or copying what seems to be working. But sameness, status quo, is going to be the real danger now. Even hacks and tricks and trends. If you can be reduced to a job description or a personal brand checklist, you will be replaced either by a cheaper human or a human who's really good at AI, which you should get good at, or just a smarter machine. But if you understand your life code, if you unlock your soul's script, your soul's blueprint, that only you can live, then suddenly you're not in the competition anymore, because you become the category. You become a category of one. There's no substitute for you when you're truly you. AI can do everything a human can do, but it cannot do you. And this is why the OG self-help principle in the Oracle of Delphi was know thyself. And then second, to thine own self be true. You can't be true to yourself if you don't know yourself. I want you to hear this principle. If you're not being yourself, life, universe, the whole universal force that is designed to grow all of nature, it cannot help you. If you were an acorn and you had self-consciousness, but you looked out at the world and said, it looks like apples are really successful, and you tried to be an apple, you would fail and you would become squirrel food. Nature never grows anything that's trying to be something other than it is. Now, the good news about nature is it can never go against its nature. But human beings with conscious awareness and the agency to go against ourselves, to be hypnotized and conditioned and pressured to be something we're not in order to fit in and get along to go along, or go along to get along, in order to keep our job or be liked, etc., we have the capacity to be something we're not. And that has always been a dangerous game, but now it's a fatal game. So what is your life code? So think of it as your soul's operating system. It's like the blueprint that was encoded in you through every experience that you've had, especially the painful ones, but not only the painful ones, right? It's how life has been training you and forging you and preparing you to deliver something that only you can bring to the world. Your unique fruit, your unique perspective, your embodied wisdom, your emotional and spiritual intelligence, your uniquely shaped values and virtues and vision. In the future, in this new brave world, energy and compute is certainly going to be one of the most highly valued commodities and qualities and resources. But there's another one that is going to be as important, if not more. The most valuable resource on the planet for you is going to be your unique embodied perspective. And that is non-transferable. It's not something AI can scrape from the internet and learn from data sets, because it wasn't created out there. It was forged in the fire of your own life. It's the secret sauce that's going to make whatever you do and whoever you are be special. You know, like, why is Dr. Phil, this therapist, why did he become such a phenomenon? As a silly example, because he didn't just know psychology. His unique embodiment, a little bit of shit kicker, a little bit of cowboy, whatever that embodiment was, right? And a very intelligent, girl, you're like a alligator, shoes, like these crazy philisms. But it wasn't just a trick or a hack or an act. It really was who he is. And the way it came out in his lived experience, it landed in a way that was unique, as was Oprah, as have been all of the individuals that have shaped and changed history, innovation, art. There was some way in which they brought forth their uniqueness. Steve Jobs with Apple, he didn't build a computer company. Think Different was the brand, right? And it was this unique amalgamation of his love of calligraphy and Zen and spiritual growth and art and design and the hidden beauty of things. And it just came together as this unique world. According to Steve Jobs, people didn't buy Apple products because they wanted just the phone per se, but because it made them feel a certain way, because it spoke to the life code in them. Same with Harley Davidson, right? It wasn't just a motorcycle, and not even the best motorcycle, but it was a way of life. It was a value set. It was an essence. It was a life code. And so it spoke to freedom and the open road and, breaking out of the system and getting off the grid and all of that. Those things that truly stick with us, that we're willing to get up at 5 a.m. and wait in line. We're willing to pay a lot of money and travel to go to that concert, or it really touches us or changes us. It's our favorite songs on a loop that we need when we need to up-level our mood or whatever. This is not just a product. It's a talisman It's an essence, it's an activation. It makes us remember who we are. It makes us feel more alive. And that's what you have the power to do. And that's what makes you irreplaceable. Imagine for a second you're trying to help someone through heartbreak, right? Whatever the case. Maybe you're a coach, a healer, a change maker, etc. And AI could certainly say, I understand how you feel. That must be very difficult. But you having lived that experience, maybe lost someone, fallen apart, rebuilt yourself, you can look them in the eyes and say and mean and convey a transmission. I've been there. I know that ache in your chest. I know that desire to scream into a pillow in the middle of the night, or that feeling that nobody's going to hear you even if you do, that deep ache of loneliness. And you might tell a story, and then you can say, but here's what I found on the other side. And yes, AI can say, you're going to be okay, you're going to make it through. That doesn't convey the presence, which is the real gift. In the Bible, it says they ask for bread and you give them a stone. And what that really means is you give them the facsimile of the truth. It looks like the truth. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, but it's not a duck. It's not substantial. It's not real. There's no real nourishment in it. And when you convey your words or your work, but with the essence, right? Your presence is the gift, and it might be wrapped in a gift box of a book or a coaching or an entrepreneurial enterprise, or just as a parent or as a friend. What that gift box has inside is your presence. It really does change them. That can't be programmed. That's a resonance. That's a radiance. That's an embodiment. Your life code isn't just about the things you've done. It's about who you've become through what you've survived and what you've chosen to love and to keep on doing despite it all, right? That's what makes you invaluable. That's what makes you irreplaceable. That's what makes people say, I don't want an AI, I want you. Even if I can get it better, faster, cheaper. Even if it's saying all the same things. I don't feel the same when I hear it from you or when I see it from you. So in a world of false content and fake perfection, the real flex is depth, integrity, self-awareness, emotional mastery, authentic creativity, and that unshakable embodied presence. These are the things that can't be faked, not even deep faked or outsourced. They're what I call evolved human skills. They're part of what I call becoming a whole new human, which is really about becoming more fully human and what we've always been meant to be. And that is what the world is starving for and will increasingly be starving for. These only emerge when you stop trying to fit in and you start answering the deeper question, like, who am I here really to be? What is life really trying to create through me? So here's a practice you can do, just a simple practice to start understanding, excavating, and activating your life code. Ask yourself, what have I struggled with the most in my life? Maybe you come up with a handful of experiences. Go back and take an inventory. And they might be different experiences, but as you unpack them and journal about them, what do you start to notice as kind of the common themes through them? Struggling to fit in, struggling to feel worthy, struggling to be good enough, whether it was in the area of my family or my job or my relationship. Just start the journey of getting to know yourself, of starting to decode your life story to discover the deep life's work that has been embedded in it, that has been preparing you. And as you're doing that, ask, what insights or strengths did I gain from those experiences? Now, you don't have to be a master, you don't have to be perfect, you might still be going through it. But if you're here now and you're listening now, you've learned some things. You've embodied some things. You have lived wisdom. What kind of individuals out there are still struggling with this as well? Who might be benefited from what I've discovered? Another thing you could ask is, what's the one truth that I've earned the right to share with the world? These are breadcrumbs to get back to your life code, back to your soul blueprint. And once you start walking that path, and once you start remembering who you are and what you're made of and what you're made for, and what it's all been preparing you to be and to express and to share, the world will feel your frequency. again, you will become a signal in the noise. Not a copy, not a clone, but a whole new human, and the kind of human that the world is waiting for. So if this lands for you, just hit the like button. If you want more of this in the world, in this deep fake world increasingly, subscribe. And if you know someone who's feeling lost, uncertain, or afraid of being replaced, please share this with them. You might be the one reminder they need that they're not broken, that it's not hopeless, that actually we're on the verge of more hopeful opportunity and possibility than ever. They can begin to know and remember that they are and they still can become who and what they were born for. And here's the final thing I'll leave you with is the world doesn't need more Instagram influencers. It doesn't need more performance. It needs more presence. Your presence is the gift that keeps on giving and gives others back their presence. And when all of us are unwrapping all of our presence together, that presence will allow us to create a world finally that works for the highest good of all. And if you want to keep getting supported, motivated, inspired, and guided on how to survive and thrive in the AI age, in this brave new world, and not just get by, but really succeed and make a powerful and positive impact, the one that you were born for, then please, again, like, subscribe, stay tuned, click on the next video, and until next time, remember to live authentically, love unconditionally, and follow your destiny.